You started your work career from IBM back in like 1996.
Hmm?
It's a long way. It's like a 3 decades long way here, right? Was it different from now analytics field from back then when I think that time even CPP might be the Python was like introduced into analytics and or very late, right? If I'm
Yeah.
not wrong.
But the funny thing is this, I'm an industrial engineer. So
Right.
I have always had to analyze information. So when I started at IBM, I had an engineering background. And what I did during those days was IBM didn't charge you before for customer support. It was free for life. But they realized it was very expensive. So I got in right in the transition. So I was the kind of guy that had to go to the people and tell them, we're going to charge you from now on. So I was like punching back, but I had to get information about, the statistics of the customers, what they require and all that stuff. And what hasn't changed, and I would say 30, 40 years, I will say 50, 60 years, that you always have to do analytics of, statistics, any kind of numbers, regressions. That hasn't changed. What has changed is the tools and how easier they are to use today. Python is a great language because everything is in libraries. You don't have to do anything from scratch. Before, I had to do everything, whatever was in those days,
Right. So back in the days, like what was the prominent language like used for analytics? Because for me and a couple of my friends who are in analytic field, they like some people only use like Python language, morely like data and AI related analytics where they're training a model or something like that. They would use Python, but most of the corporate analytics is more on SQL and Tableau and Power BI kind of stuff, which is the base level of jobs. And if we kind of have a step above it, it would be like Azure or Google cloud services. So is this the way in all the companies, or have you worked with all like any companies which you found like, oh, this kind of tool is much better for you to do a better job, uh, keeping in mind how accurate the um result is and also the time constraint that you need to solve this problem?
Well, I work for many different companies. It's IBM is one of them. I work for SAS Institute, the SAS software. You might know it. I've also worked for General Dynamics, doing manufacturing for ships, military ships.
And operation inside it, I'm like, oh, they're doing a lot of operational works, operational management and stuff like that in the
To put you simply, what my framework is, but people don't understand why I do those changes. And I tell them, my master's is in process engineering. So I do everything based on process. So every process needs data input. So you need data engineer there. Then you need
right,
controls.
right.
Those controls generate data. They are checking everything and are telling you, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, oh, this is okay, this is okay. And then you have an output, which usually is either a product or information. But everything is process based. And what I can tell you is that hasn't changed at all. But what's interesting is the way every company approaches processes. Today, it's easier because there are standards. Everybody's taking the cloud as a standard. Everybody's taking Python as a standard. They're taking tools that are used by everyone.